Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today in this video, we're going to be talking about llamas. I've done several videos about alpacas, and most of that information does apply to llamas, but in this video, we're going to be focusing just on llamas, and I'll also be talking about keeping them with other types of animals, so it'll be very useful for those of you who are interested in guard llamas. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for more information about alpacas, llamas, and all other kinds of animals. Llamas, or the correct name for them, llamas, are a domesticated animal from South America that were bred for work. They are much larger than alpacas and are used for packing, pulling, and guarding, being kept with sheep, goats, cows, horses, and other animals to fight off predators like dogs, wolves, and coyotes. I also have a video about the correct pronunciation, since both of these words are taken from the Spanish language and go even further back into indigenous dialects, since the double L is pronounced with a Y sound instead of a L sound, so it's llama, not llama, and all that information will be linked down below. So you're probably here because you're considering llamas as a guardian for your farm. So here's some things to know about them before you decide to commit to one. I think the first most important thing is to understand that llamas do require shearing once a year, like a sheep. This is an absolute must, as the fur on the animal can become overwhelming by causing them a heat stroke, and they will suffer under the weight. They are not going to shed this fur in the spring like other types of animals. And I bring this up first because I often see this very important care requirement being completely overlooked. I recommend you hire a professional llama alpaca shearer to do this for you once a year. If you only have 2 llamas, it might not be worth buying all of the equipment for yourself, so it's just easier to have somebody come in and do it. If you don't have a lot of llamas, you can also check around locally and see if there's a bigger farm that might be willing to let you bring your llamas to their farm on shearing day. It's something that a lot of alpaca and llama farmers do, and it's even something that I do as well. As an alpaca and llama breeder myself, I never mind opening up to let other people bring their animals to get sheared, especially if it means that those animals are not going to have to suffer with the heat and weight of the fur. And then that is the second big thing to mention. Llamas do better in at least pairs. These are very social animals, and not only do they benefit from having a companion, they will be better guard animals with help. I've seen a lot of people say that you can't have 2 because they won't protect the livestock they're with. This is completely untrue. You will have fewer casualties if you have 2 working together, and more, of course. Depending on how many animals you have, you should probably consider having 2 or more llamas. And that's important to mention, is that llamas do not make companion animals for other types of animals. They do make good guards, but there's not a benefit in getting a llama as a companion for a horse or getting a goat as a companion for a llama. They do need to be in pairs. Of course, another important thing to consider is when you do have 2, they have to be the same sex. So 2 males or 2 females. And the reason for this is that llamas do not have a breeding season or a heat cycle. They're actually induced ovulators, and so this means that they become pregnant when with a male. So the best thing to do is have 2 of females or 2 males, because overbreeding can actually cause really bad health problems for the female. For using llamas as guardians, I recommend having 2 females or 2 gelded males. There are instances in which intact males can become a problem, because they might fight with each other, or they might actually try to breed with the livestock that you have, all of which does cause problems. Before we continue, let's give a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that is 5 Strand Allergy. They are a testing company for food intolerances, and they actually test horses, dogs, people, and cats. So you can actually find out if your pet is having a food intolerance by taking some of their hair samples, sending it into this lab, and then they're going to let you know what's causing things like itchiness, bloating, vomiting, things like that can all be caused by food allergies. And I did a whole video on this because it's really interesting. It's not something I thought would work, and I tried it for my animals, and it's been one of the best things that I've ever used for them. So be sure to follow the link down below to get more information about 5-strand. And both males and females are good at guarding, and let's talk about that. How do they guard? Not every llama will guard. You will want to make sure that you buy from a breeder who breeds for this trait, or buy llamas that have been used for guarding and that are proven. That way you know that they will do the job. Llamas that guard will actually keep a lookout for predators. That's another reason to have more than one. They can still rest and sleep, and your animals will be protected. When a predator comes into your pasture, the llama will call out an alarm. It sounds kind of like a whistle or like a bird almost. And the other animals will respond to this by running to stand behind them. Alpacas know how to do this automatically. If you have sheep or goats that have never seen a llama, it might take them some time to learn, but they will figure it out. Llamas will confront the predator and spit. If this does not make them go away, the llama will actually charge at them and try to bite them and stomp them to death with their big front claws. And that's why llamas are so beneficial to farms. They're also very intelligent, and they will learn to get along with the family dog. They understand the difference between what's a threat and what's not. So I actually have my llamas with Great Pyrenees as well, which are a farm guardian dog. Some llamas will also charge at strangers, so they'll protect the herd from thieves. One of the things that I don't hear very often is that besides protecting the herd from outside predators, the llama will also break up fights within the herd. So I have 2 female llamas that guard my female herd of alpacas, and one is Mesquite. She's the brown and white one, and she's really good at defending against outside sources. The black and white one, Willow, is actually really good at keeping order within the herd. So when some of the girls start fighting, she actually goes and breaks them up. And when it comes to keeping them with other animals, it can be pretty simple. They can be pastured with other animals. If it's alpacas, it does need to be males with males and females with females. They can live with sheep, goats, deer, horses, cows, and a 4 or 5 foot fence is good enough for most llamas. They do enjoy having pasture for grazing and exercise. One thing to consider is just parasites. The parasites that affect llamas would come from goats and sheep. And so you just want to make sure to get your fecals checked, because parasites from goats can actually become overwhelming for llamas. This can be very, very deadly in alpacas. Llamas tend to be a little bit hardier with this, but it does still affect them. And also with deer, they can get illnesses from wild deer. So those are some of the health concerns that you want to be aware of when housing them with other types of animals. As far as feeding them goes, they need a good quality hay, a grass hay. Some alfalfa is okay, but that's not going to be something that you want to give them a lot of. Their diet should be mostly grass, so good quality grass hay. And then they do need either minerals or grain. And one thing to consider about their grain is that llamas do require copper, and so that can be harmful for some animals like sheep, for example. So they might need to be fed separately depending on who you're housing them with. But there's a lot of brands on the market now that actually do have a feed that's specific for llamas. So there's quite a lot of choices when it comes to finding out what types of grains or minerals that they need. When your llama gets sheared, the shearer will check their toes and teeth. Their teeth do grow continuously and sometimes do need to be cut. Their toenails also need to be clipped. Llamas are just a great livestock animal to have because they can be trained for backpacking, and you can also do livestock shows with llamas. And they're just a really fun, unique pet to have as well. They're very intelligent animals, very graceful. Many people are worried about llamas spitting at them. Llamas do use this as a defense mechanism, so it's not something they're going to do if they like you. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I hope it helped you on your journey to looking for a llama for your farm. And if you want to see more llama content on my channel, be sure to subscribe, as well as let me know in the comments if you have questions and what other things you want to know about these really intelligent, amazing animals. Who knew committing to you would involve so much slobber?